Many thanks to Fatal Attraction Vanilla servers, Atlas, one original DayZ servers, Clash Vanilla servers, Sgt. Pepper's DayZ Invasion server, Sea of Tools Cloud, Neo Farmers servers, BK Free World servers, and Double Tap for making this video possible. The devs have just released another blog post giving us loads of juicy new info on Frostline, this time for ice shelves and the 2 types of natural springs that are going to be on Sakhal. So in this video we're going to look at the 6 different types of water, check out the huge amount of locations that we've never seen before, and compare those locations to Tanoa. We've known ice sheets were coming to Sakhal for a very long time, but what we didn't know is how much ice we are getting. Are the islands going to be connected by ice? And the answer to that is pretty much yeah. From the boat teaser we got and from the ice sheets video we saw in the blog post, there will be ice sheets connecting nearly every island, but given that the gaps between these sheets is quite large, it may mean that we need to get wet to travel along this ice. However, from the time lapse that we saw in this blog post, there appears to be one location at least that shows some type of bridge or land bridge connecting the main island to the string of islands that you can see here, possibly leading to the larger islands too. Now on Tanoa, there is a bridge between these 2 islands also, with proof of this in the time lapse that this larger island down here exists on Sakhal too. The time lapse starts down here in the bottom of the map, confirming that these 2 islands are going to be here. This is where the ice sheets were being created, along with a camera angle pointing in the opposite direction to the large island. This island here is likely going to house the Navy base or maybe be a massive military area. The time-lapse then moved to the southwestern island down here, which shows that the island has been reshaped. As you can see from the coordinates, there's landmass here, but in the time-lapse there's no landmass. That means that this island has been reshaped in some form, but it looks like a lot of the island is still remaining the same. As we can see when it pans across the south here, we can see the small island off the tip here, like a shark tooth tip coming off onto the island here. That remains the same, and the west side seems to be the same too. Travelling north to the centre west island here, there's proof of a similar looking coastline here too, and a road on this smaller island here. My guess is that there's going to be a road going from the mainland all the way to these 2 coastal towns on the southwest island, connecting all of these islands here together on a sort of bridge, with probably the High Loot Island to the right here only being connected by a bridge and possibly some ice sheets to the main island. The only other location that I found in this time lapse is the Georgetown area here, which is the main city of Tanoa, showing the curve of the land around here, but there's no details of if there's going to be a town here, and I couldn't see any buildings. Remember that the images here are not the best quality, and this could be a development version of DayZ where the textures are lowered way down and they don't show any buildings or anything to improve the load speeds, or at least the saving speeds. But most importantly, the map isn't finished, so this is not going to be the final version. The natural springs of Sakhal will come in 2 forms. One form is the hot springs, which we already know of, but here we did have confirmation in this blog post that it's going to be too hot to walk in and too contaminated to take a sip, which means you're probably going to get heavy metal poisoning if you drink from this location, or perhaps if you hang around in the volcanic smoke that might be here. Clean water is available though on Sakhal, and instead of wells there's going to be water springs instead. So this is a second type of natural spring we have on Sakhal, being placed in what looks like very natural locations, most likely on hillsides because that's where they usually start, with hints that there's going to be markers letting the locals and survivors know where they are. My guess is that they're going to be dotted around the hillsides near villages, with them being confirmed in this blog post that they're going to be near coastal villages. With 1.26 we got some new code relating to 6 different water types, and these are the variations that I found. This is snow, salt water, fresh water, still water, hot water, and clean water. Snow will be from the ground, obviously, on Sakhal, reduces your temperature when you eat it, and will probably give you heavy metal poisoning when eaten too, as we saw in the last blog post. Salt water has no additional information, but perhaps it's not going to be drinkable at all, so only useful for, say, using in car radiators or using to extinguish fires maybe. Fresh water will be from rivers and ponds, most likely giving us a chance to get cholera. Still water will be from places like fountains and troughs, probably giving us a higher chance of cholera when you drink this type, with the water here specifically saying that you cannot fish from it. The next type is hot water, which simply says hot spring next to it, so heavy metal poisoning most likely, not to be confused with hot water you boil yourself. Hot water you boil yourself, as long as it's cooled down, should be safe to drink. And finally we have clean water from wells and rain. That's a comment that was next to this piece of code from the developer. If these water types are in 1.26, it isn't confirmed if they are, but they most likely will be. Bear in mind, this water type info is based on what we found in the game files. This might not be confirmed for 1.26, it might be coming in a future patch. Finally, for the blog post, geysers are confirmed on Sakhal 2, which I don't believe was on anybody's bingo card, and the fact that they will probably damage us due to the heat is pretty damn awesome. We will get some more details on boats in the next blog post, which I'm guessing is going to be in 2 weeks' time, with probably some footage of one driving around and maybe some juicy details of how many people we can have in there, maybe storage options, stuff like that. For now, we do have some details on boats from the game files in this video where I made some predictions based on what we found in the game files, but that info isn't confirmed yet. We only know there will be boats in Frostline for now, and based on this image, the new image that we got today, it looks like they're going to be drivable. Links in the description if you want to know more info. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.